Thanks to the fact that Charizard EX is weak to Grass, Toedscruel EX should see some success in the Obsidian Flames meta on Pokemon TCG Live, especially among free decks. Unfortunately, Toedscruel is weak to Fire, so if that Charizard deck is playing any Fire-type attackers, you're kinda screwed. And once the Fire-type Charizard EX comes out in 151 next month, they're almost guaranteed to play a Fire-type attacker, so things will definitely get tricky then. Anyways, this is the free Toedscruel EX deck you get on the Obsidian Flames Premium Battle Pass, which should cost 600 crystals. I get what the developers were going with throwing in Torterra, but Torterra does not fit whatsoever into an attacking Toedscruel EX deck. If you want to use Toedscruel EX as a support Pokemon to keep your Pokemon safe from effects of attacks, then absolutely. But we're building an attacking Toedscruel deck, and believe it or not, the attack can be really good. For 2 Grass Energy, you can deal anywhere from 80 to 280 damage, depending on how many of your bench Pokemon have energy attached to them. This also pairs well with the ability, as all of your Pokemon with energy attached are immune to effects of your opponent's attacks, including damage counters from someone like Sableye. Moving along, while there isn't much you'll actually be using, once you reach tier 14 of the Premium Battle Pass, you'll unlock all of these cards. Most of them are just gold versions of cards, so you can laugh at the peasants who couldn't afford the Premium Battle Pass, as well as 2 copies of Eldegoss. Yeah, not exactly the all creamy of the crop here. As a result, you won't see any of those cards in this version of Toedscruel EX, which you can build completely free on Pokemon TCG Live, using a combination of the cards in the default free deck plus the extra Toedscruel in tier 1 of the Battle Pass, and cards you get for free in the 2023 default decks in the game. This is the easiest way to play Toedscruel. It has a 4-3 Toedscruel line, a 2-2 Cherrim line, a 2-2 Bibarel line, a Manaphy, and a Radiant Greninja. Seriously, it's that simple. I also included a 1-1 Kricketune line to boost the HP of your other grass types by 40, because there aren't really any other good secondary attackers included in the free decks. For ideas on how to improve Toedscruel, I looked at results from Japanese tournaments, and found nothing. Yeah, Toedscruel EX likely isn't going to knock your socks off, exposing your supple toes. So you know what that means, Pilot gets to go crazy and make his own build of a deck that will probably suck. While Forretress EX and Gardenia are options for energy acceleration in Toedscruel, they aren't good options for energy acceleration in Toedscruel. Forretress gives up prizes while Gardenia is far too inconsistent. Cherrim is 100% necessary in any Toedscruel deck you want to build. What you have to be hyper aware of is that Cherrim can't attach to Toedscruel EX, as Toedscruel EX has a rule box. So you have to attach to Toedscruel first, then evolve. It's a headache, but one you'll have to deal with. The rest is fairly straightforward. Fill up your bench with as many Pokemon as possible, put 1 energy on all of them with Cherrim's ability, then start doing 280 damage with Toedscruel EX. While things like Avery and Glimmora EX will be a pain, Toedscruel does hit Glimmora for weakness, so that might actually be a positive matchup. And as an added bonus, Toedscruel will be protected against the effects of poison when Glimmora attacks. For the necessary upgrades, I think messing around with Letter of Encouragement and Superior Energy Retrieval is a good idea. Superior Energy Retrieval is likely the much better option, as it can thin your hand to improve Bibarel, but Letter of Encouragement can fish out any energy stuck in your deck, provided somebody was just knocked out. And Artisan is always a great consistency card, able to get a basic out of your deck. You will also want a backup single prize attacker, with Snorlax from Lost Origin being my personal choice. And if you find yourself struggling to get a big KO with the deck, use Weirdeer V to potentially do 400 damage. All in all, this version of the deck will only cost you 1,475 credits to build. Since the Battle Pass already gives you a couple thousand credits for free at tier 0, you can build it right away. There's plenty of other options for Toedscruel EX, but nothing will make it a tier 1 deck. That Kricketune is definitely one of the options. I've personally never really been a fan of Kricketune. It's another evolution line that jams up your deck, and 40 extra hit points isn't always going to help you survive a hit. There's also Eldegoss, which finds energy in your deck and puts them into your hand. Problem is, you'll likely have to take out Bibarel to make room for it. Other Pokemon include the Tropius with Rallyback, which does 120 damage for 2 energy. So if you're struggling to get 3 energy on the Snorlax, this might be the better option. Or you can use the Tropius that does 130 damage and keeps the energy in play. We also have Practice Studio, which could help fix some Toedscruel math, but we'll have to see how the meta shakes out to really know if it's worth it. And then there's Hisuian Lilligant V-Star. The odds of attacking with it are low without very careful planning, but the ability helps with your consistency, searching your deck for any 5 in combination of Grass Pokemon and Grass Energy. And Path to the Peak is another slightly odd option. While it does shut off Toedscruel's ability, if you're facing something that isn't Lost Box, you don't really need it. So by playing Path, you can potentially slow down a deck like Gardevoir. Looking ahead to 151 next month, Rigid Band could be useful for Toedscruel. Instead of using up a bench spot for Kricketune, now you can just attach Rigid Band to Toedscruel EX and now any damage it takes is lowered by 30. Just like with the Charizard video, I've included deck lists in the description for easy copy and pasting into TCG Live. If you have any suggestions for improving Toedscruel EX, let everyone know in the comments.